Sometimes, your mind doesn't feel like a tool, it feels like a storm. Thoughts keep multiplying, replaying, looping, refusing to be quiet. You try to ignore them, distract yourself, even argue with them, but the thoughts grow louder. And naturally, you wonder, why can't I stop overthinking? Why is my own mind working against me? The answer is not what you think. Overthinking isn't a flaw in your brain. It's a habit your identity is built to protect itself. Your mind doesn't trust the present moment, so it tries to control what comes next. It believes that if it thinks enough, worries enough, prepares enough, then nothing painful will ever happen again. Overthinking is the mind's armor against uncertainty. But here's the hidden cost. To avoid pain, the mind sacrifices peace. You think you are searching for clarity, but what you're really doing is avoiding vulnerability. The mind overthinks because it fears letting go. It fears silence. It fears discovering that life doesn't need to be predicted to be lived. When the present feels unsafe, the future becomes a battlefield of scenarios, arguments that haven't happened, outcomes that don't exist, and problems that are only alive because you're feeding them energy. Overthinking creates imaginary emergencies. Your mind keeps solving problems that don't exist just to feel useful. You were trained to believe that thinking is control, but thinking is not control. Thinking is movement, and movement without direction becomes anxiety. You're not stuck because life is complicated. You're stuck because your mind refuses to stop rehearsing what hasn't happened. And the more you think, the more real those thoughts appear. The mind confuses attention with truth. If you think about something long enough, it starts to feel inevitable. That is the trap. Overthinking is not clarity. It is illusion dressed as preparation. Then why doesn't it stop? Because the mind is addicted to activity. A silent mind feels like death to the ego. Stillness feels like losing identity, losing control. So the mind keeps moving, not because movement is needed, but because stillness feels threatening. But here's the irony. Your best decisions never came from overthinking. They came from moments when you were calm, when you weren't chasing thoughts, just seeing clearly. Clarity isn't created by thinking more. It appears when thinking settles. You cannot think your way to peace. You reach peace when you stop treating every thought like a command. A thought is not an instruction. It's an event. It shows up, it passes. The problem begins when you believe every thought requires your attention. Most thoughts are echoes of old fears, old patterns, old identities trying to survive. So how do you stop overthinking? You don't silence the mind by force. You silence it by seeing through it. You start noticing the distance between you and your thoughts. Thoughts come and go, but you remain. The one who observes is not the one who overthinks. Once you realize this, the thoughts lose authority. They continue to appear, but they no longer control your actions. True freedom isn't the absence of thought. It's the absence of belief in every thought. Overthinking dissolves not when the mind stops talking, But when you stop mistaking it for truth, when you understand this, something profound happens. The mind becomes quiet, not because you forced it into silence, because it has nothing left to prove. And in that silence, I've become simple again.